Peace, y'all. I just got booted off of live, but we back here at the Bubbly Love Show, and right now we are discussing narcissism. We're also today's topics are also infatuation, attachment, and unconditional love without expectation. However, right now I am discussing narcissism, and I just read about vulnerable narcissism, which is this behavior is usually the result of childhood neglect or abuse. People with this behavior are much more sensitive. Narcissistic behavior helps them to protect them against feeling inadequate. Even though they go between feeling inferior and superior to others, they feel offended or anxious when others don't treat them as they are special. Okay? So I was just expressing that I've experienced this. And also so going back to like no one owing me anything. So just because I feel a way about something, that literally everybody has to feel a way about something. So let's just make an example of like, oh, I don't like this person, right? And all of my friends, and think about when we were children, that was a big thing. It's like, yeah, because I don't like this person and this is my best friend should not like this person either. That's very entitled of you. So you're basically saying that another person is not allowed to develop their own feelings about how they feel about others because you don't like this person and that person is your friend. So you're not even allowing this person to be themselves and to have their own experience with this person that you may not like. And what if their personalities just happen to get along? I learned and realized that certain personalities just don't get along. And also, you don't take the time to get along. You don't take the time to understand each other because the fact is that you express yourself in different ways and you're not taking the time to be able to understand that other perspective. And a lot of times it can be based in ego because you feel as if your perspective is the right one and the other is the wrong one. And truly there is truth in both perspectives. So in addition to this vulnerability, because I was just talking about sensitivity, so it's like the everything is about balance. So it's like people can be sensitive to how you're feeling, but again, they don't have to completely change who they are because you're sensitive and because you're going to feel a way about everything. Okay. Next, signs of narcissism. Sense of entitlement. A common sign of people with narcissism is the belief that they are superior to others and deserve special treatment. They believe that others should be obedient to their wishes and that the rules don't apply to them. Next, manipulative behavior. I've been talking about a lot of this. Another common trait of narcissism is manipulative or controlling behavior. A narcissist will first try to please you and impress you, but eventually their own needs will always come first. When relating to other people, narcissists will try to keep people at a certain distance in order to maintain control. They may even exploit others to gain something for themselves. In my own experience, a trait that I have not ever resonated with and it's always been like a big red flag for me is that if there's a person in my life that I tell something very vulnerable to, and then when, say if we get into like a miscommunication argument, right, they throw that vulnerable thing that I told them in my face. And that's something that I've always been like, nah, like you're not my friend. Like, you know, I remember doing that when I was like a little girl, but outside of that, it's like I'm very big to not, I can get so upset with somebody that I love, but the things that they told me, I would not throw in their face to make them feel a way about, to make them feel, to undermine them, or, you know, condescend them because of the thing that they are going through. And as I'm speaking, I have to be aware of, even if not doing it to their face, but then also not doing it subconsciously either, because now that's coming to me as well. Like, oh, this person is going through this because that's happening. I feel like everything, again, is about balance, and it's like in your own reflection, you can be honest and truthful to yourself, but as long as you are not holding something against somebody. True word. Need for admiration. One of the most common signs of a narcissist is a constant need for praise or admiration. People with this behavior need to feel validation from others and often brag or exaggerate their accomplishments for recognition. They also like to feel appreciated to boost their ego. So again, I was expressing this earlier, that I experienced this, of like exaggerating things. Like, I remember working at certain places and like exaggerating the things that I was doing, and it was truly like, not to really lie on purpose, but this feeling of like, yeah, look at me, look at all the stuff that I'm doing. And then I realized the difference, that nowadays, like when I have accomplishments, it's like I'm excited to share with others, because I can share knowledge and facts to empower them, but not a sense of comparison and being like, look what I did and you didn't do. It's more so like, yo, look what I did, you can do it too, right? Next, lack of empathy. Lack of empathy is another sign of narcissism. This means that the narcissist is unwilling or unable to empathize with the needs, wants, or feelings of other people. This also makes it difficult for them to take responsibility for their own behavior. I spoke a bit about that earlier, of not being sensitive to others without, of course, editing yourself in a way that doesn't seem true to you. So again, everything is about balance. It's about having empathy for another being, right? Arrogance. People with narcissistic behavior already see themselves as superior to others, so they become rude or even abusive when they don't receive the treatment that they think they deserve. While they hold themselves superior, they may speak or act rudely towards those they deem are inferior. I remember I went through this a lot, and just this feeling of, it just doesn't feel good when you care about someone and there's an arrogant behavior that is being projected upon you. And these are some other signs. Other signs include a sense of self-importance, exaggerating their achievements and talents, a preoccupation with fantasies of success, power, or brilliance, a belief that they're more special or more unique than others and should only associate with other high-status people. Went through that. Envy of others, or the belief that others are envious of them. Insisting that they have the best of everything. Feelings that they deserve privileges and special treatment. I want to talk about the one that says in envy of others, or believing that others are envious of them. Because as a little girl, or even like now, like I'm able to read energy and others, and I remember that I would have friends that would be females, and they would just do these like very jealous type movements. Like, I'm gonna give you an example. Like, I used to have this friend when I was like in middle school, and she used to like, every time I liked the boy, every time I liked the boy, all of a sudden she would like the same boy. And when I tell y'all, it used to happen back to back to back to back to back. Mind you, this was somebody who I thought was so beautiful and I really looked up to her. And honestly, I wanted to be like her because I just thought she was just so special, right? And I remember every time, again, I would like somebody, she would all of a sudden start liking them. And it happened so consistently that I had to really be honest about it and be like, yo, this person is not my friend and this person is jealous. um okay, I'm gonna pause on that. Sister Trinity is requesting to be in the video. Please. Hello. Yay! Hey,
Hi, sis.
yo, how are you?
Oh my goodness, I'm so amazing right now. I'm so good. I just got off of work and I'm just chillaxing outdoors right now, and I'm so happy to be on the show.
Yes, thank you, yo. I swear, when you ask, you shall receive. Because just a little while ago, a brother of mine, he hopped on the live, but I couldn't see his face, and I was just like, "Dang, son." So we like had a brief chat or whatever, but I couldn't see his face. And just now, I was like, "Please, please, let me see her." And then
Yeah, I'm here. And sometimes it just happens like that. Like nothing, like no disrespect to the brother, but sometimes things just aren't in the alignment that it can be.
yeah,
You know what I mean? So glad that it worked out the way it did. And yeah, I'm happy that y'all can see me too. 'Cause I'm like,
yes,
I
I'm
got the
happy to
shuttle
see
and
you.
everything. We still know how to plan, be the whole.
Thank you for being outside for
Yes.
me.
It's so funny. When you were speaking on how you like having like certain people around you that you considered your friend, and like how they would like kind of like all of the sudden want to like crush on the same person as you. I didn't catch like the very beginning of it, but I like as soon as you started saying that, like I resonate with that as well. Like not presently, but in the past, I have definitely experienced like just like expressing my attraction to a person. Meanwhile, oh my god, I hope you can hear me. There's like a truck passing. Hope it's not too loud.
I don't hear right now. I still hear you fine.
Okay, perfect. So I'm not gonna mind the traffic then. But yeah, and going through that experience, like I definitely had to learn that lesson as well of like just having like the intuition of like who is really your friend and who's really like just around you to kind of like dim your light when they get a chance to. And it would happen in many different ways, like it would happen that way. It would happen like, oh, if I chose to wear something that wasn't like considered the normal thing to wear, they would be the first person to kind of like say something that wasn't like super positive about it. And like, it was a period where I did question, like, like this is supposed to be my friend, but like they're like treating me a certain way. So like, what am I feeling like? And it really taught me how to kind of just trust my feelings more and not always look at the outside to see what is real and what's not real. Like everything that you feel inside, like if somebody's talking to you, even if it is a compliment, right? But you kind of feel something and you're like, that's sounding nice on the outside, but like the feeling inside doesn't really connect with that, the verbal words that came out of your mouth. So those lessons I'm grateful for because it really taught me how to just have better discernment and how to also like just be more confident in yourself, right? Because like when you have friends that are around you that aren't having your best interest at heart, it can really like dampen your confidence and make you feel like, well, dang, like they always in competition with me, or like they're always like talking down on me. But once you understand that, like once you can kind of step out of the situation and understand that, you know what, these are all lessons to kind of build your own character and help you to like be confident no matter what is thrown your way, then you can kind of triumph those moments and like not let it hold you back in the way it was intended to hold you back, so
Yeah, I
thank you for
definitely
sharing
agree.
that because I feel
Yeah.
like a lot of people go through that.
Yeah, I definitely resonate. And to add to what you're saying, one of the things that I had to learn too is funny with that same person that used to do that a lot to me about liking the same person. This person, like, she was so beautiful physically, right? However, really over the years, I realized that she had a very ugly character. And
Mm.
to be honest with that, and I was like, wow, that was like one of the first lessons that I learned as a little girl that, yo, you can be beautiful, you can look amazing, but your character can be ugly. And I was like, dang, like that was a big one for me because I'm like, I can't believe this person is so beautiful, but they just don't act like beautiful, like for real. It was wild. This was somebody I really was really close to. And going back to that as well, there was a point in my life where I really had to release a lot of the friends that I had around me because they would consistently like just downplay the things I'm doing. And then I would realize that I had to truly be honest with myself about how I feel around them. And then also be honest about the fact that like I used to make excuses for people a lot. I would make excuses
Mm-hmm.
and I would be like, oh, yeah, no, that's just how she is. That's just how he is. And I'm like, wait, but if this is how they are and it's not making you feel good all the time, then you need to release that person. And I remember shedding a lot of that, those people from my life, both females and males, and my life like it completely transformed. It changed so much. And I remember starting to be around people that truly celebrated me for being myself. Like something when I was younger was like, oh, you're doing too much, you're doing too much. And then it made me start to be self-conscious about being expressive in the way that I am. Then when I released those friendships, or those relationships and I started to allow others in my life, they would be like, yo, I love that you're so colorful. I love your hair like that. Like I love this and that about you. And I'm like, oh really? And then it just helps you because I truly believe that we do need one another. Like, it's like, yes, it's important for us to like build our confidence within ourselves, but the only way that we can truly like really be is with other support. Like, we cannot do everything by ourselves and just, though, even those days where you wake up and you don't feel the most confident and you have that friend that you call and they're like, girl, you got this. Like, it's all good. Don't stress over that. It's like those are the relationships that we truly do need, and we should definitely cherish, and we should just be that for one another. Like, for real, for real. We need that. If we were meant to be by ourselves and do everything by ourselves, then we will each have a planet that we on that planet by ourselves.
Word though, word. Like those are such true words, and you really hit a point of like when you said well, you had a couple points, but the ones that stood out to me was definitely like when people are so beautiful on the outside and their insides don't reflect that outer beauty. And you know, I would, I would experience people. I'm sorry, I'm getting distracted. Can you play the music in the background? Or no?
Mm-mm.
No? Okay, so I'm just gonna tune it out. Okay. I just want to make sure like this video is super clear and like everyone can hear us. So let me just stay focused. But yeah, like I feel that people also recognize that within themselves too. Like they can look in the mirror and they're like, oh, like I love how I look, but then like internally they're kind of like, I don't really feel as beautiful as I see myself. And that's when they start to project that insecurity of their own selves, knowing that, like, dang, like, there's something about me that just doesn't reflect the outer beauty. In my eyes, though, and it's so funny because, like, when I had those experiences, even when people would treat me like that, I would still see the beauty in them. Even when most of it is just, like, not really that beautiful, I could still see, like, the little, like, crack in the unbeautiness that was beauty. And I would, like you said, like make excuses for them, like, well, yeah, that's just how they are, but I can see this light in them, and I can see how they're this way and how they're that way, and I want to like acknowledge them for that and like be there for them for that. And it really does come to a point where we just have to set that boundary and really choose ourselves. And
yeah, like it's definitely just a learning lesson to be able to take yourself out of the situations you know aren't for your highest good, even when you have love for those people, because like you said, like you experienced, you found those people that honor your true identity, that honor your true expression, your true nature, who you are. And those type of people are those people that can recognize their own inner beauty. And that's the realest beauty out there. Like even when people are so called not that physically attractive, and I do this because I feel like physical attraction is subjective. Like I can't be like, oh, you're not attractive because somebody else might have a different perspective on that. But even those people, when they have a beautiful inside, it just radiates out, and it's like I don't even care about what you look like right now because your inner beauty is the only real thing that I can feel and like experience right now. I feel like there was another point that you said, but it'll probably come back later. But
It's all
but I
good.
just love this dialogue because I feel like us women, especially us women that have a lot of like light within us, and we also like reflect it on the outside, like we're very physically like beautiful, and like a lot of people can see that beauty. I feel like a lot of the times we can experience like people in our close circles not really honoring our truth and not really honoring like what we offer and like what we express and who we really are. And at least in my experience, I wasn't always comfortable like speaking on it because I didn't want to be like talking crap about somebody or
I was just saying this
gossiping.
before you got on the live, yo. I was just
You
talking about
know?
this. Go ahead.
Yeah. I heard you. I see you talking. Oh, I'm so sorry. Now my Bluetooth is on. No, because
And I just saw that you were expressing, but I didn't hear what you said because my
Oh,
Bluetooth is connected.
I was just saying that I was literally just saying the exact same thing that you're saying on the live a little bit earlier about how I
Mhm.
wouldn't talk about these experiences that I had because I don't want anybody to look bad and I don't want to be talking about anybody. But my
Yes.
end goal was really just like, yo, me expressing my truth and my experiences and the things that I've reflected on and been growing through is me literally doing that. It's not me making anything up. It's not me
Mhm.
trying to put anyone down, but it's me truly reflecting on my experiences and being honest about those experiences because when we share these stories, then we realize like, oh snap, it wasn't just me that went through this, you know?
Mhm.
That's healing. That's more healing than anything else, that anybody's ego not feeling good.
Yeah. No, real talk. Real talk. And yeah, like the more we just open up about our personal experience, the more we give other people permission to like speak up about their own personal experiences. And like you said, when we open up, we realize like, oh snap, all of us in this circle right here relate to the same thing. You know what I'm saying? And it helps us to realize like we're not alone on this journey. A lot of us go through similar experiences, not like to the T, but similar enough to relate and to understand how somebody else feels. And we need each other, you know, to heal and to really ascend and to expand and to allow ourselves to become the real us, and like as much as it keeps unfolding and unfolding. Yeah. But I was really interested about this conversation because, the main topics that I can remember off the top of my head was like infatuation and like dealing with narcissism and loving unconditionally, right? And I, I feel that I've had a recent, like, really big lesson on that. And I just want to share some things that I learned because, like, it's such a bittersweet kind of dynamic when it comes to that, like, whole spectrum itself. Like I've definitely experienced being in a relationship with people that I would say have like narcissistic character traits. And when you're in it, it definitely can feel like very like dense and very like you can't really like swim out of those waters because the energy of those type of people can be very very like overpowering, especially if you don't have other like that many other people around you to kind of bring a different energy and a different perspective. That type of energy can be very hard to kind of go through. But what I found is that, like, honestly, when I look back, like, literally, all the people that I could, like, remember that had those traits about them, like, they taught me so much. And, like, they really thrusted me into my own self and, like, really, to really do what I know I'm here to do. Like, they helped me to realize, like, yo, it's not nothing to play with. Like, life is happening, and you're either going to, like, let things happen to you, or you're going to do the things that you want to do. And you know, that's like the big spectrum of it. But like in between, they taught me like so much about how to just set boundaries, how to be confident in myself, how to like trust my intuition. Because oh my goodness, when I tell you, I feel like dealing with narcissists is the best way to really like exercise intuition. Because I mean, I knew, you know what I'm saying? Like, I knew from like jump, but it would be times where I would just overlook or be like, you know what? I don't want to prejudge too much. Let me not trust my intuition. Let me just give them the benefit of the doubt because they're human and we're not perfect. So let me just see. And it would be that happening like continuously until the point where I would just be like, okay, this can no longer happen. Like my whole spirit, my whole being just kind of just switches and just says like, okay, we've kind of been doing this a little bit too often, and we're getting the same messages for a while, and now we kind of have to take action, and we have to align it to where it's going to be best for me, because I feel like, especially women, we are so kind of like almost subconsciously, like, I don't want to say program, but kind of program, but like we just feel like we always have to be there for someone, or like be that support, or that nurturing, or that friend, that partner, right? We always have to be there for them. But it's like at the end of the day, who's gonna be there for me? Am I gonna depend on this person who's been kind of treating me in a way that I don't like, or am I gonna be the one to be there for myself? You know what I'm saying? And so I I don't really hate narcissists. Like, I actually appreciate the lessons they can teach people, but I also feel like it's up to us, people that are dealing with them, to actually like learn from the lessons that's showing up, so that we can learn from it and not allow it to break us down, because that's something that can happen if we're dealing with narcissists and we're just allowing them to kind of just be in our space and be in our lives, knowing that the way they treat me is not the way I want to be treated. Like, I'm not feeling good. My energy is drained all the time. I'm getting upset so much. Like, opportunities feel like they're not like coming to me the way I want them to come to me. I'm not feeling like I want to do the things that I naturally want to do on my own. Like, those are the signs that you can kind of pick up on within yourself to really know if, like, am I dealing with somebody that's kind of having these traits, or, you know, is it like just somebody that, I don't know, has certain other character traits that's not really narcissistic, but maybe it's just a person that you don't really vibe with. Like, and that could be a thing too. But as far as narcissists, like, they're very great teachers. Like, as well, as much as they can be like a lot to deal with, they are great teachers, and they have really been the ones that helped me to kind of like really just take that leap of faith on my own path, spiritually, career wise, like just on my own identity and who I am and who I want to be in this life. So yeah, I feel like I've been talking a
No,
lot.
thank you. No, thank you so much, yo. It's such a divine reflection, because I was literally just going into that, like, and I started reading like this web page that goes into like different examples of narcissists, right? And the reason why I decided to read this web page, which is something I wanted to say on here, is that I remember when I was going through a narcissistic relationship, and I was really so manipulated, and just in that space, like you said, it felt very overwhelming, where I was really questioning myself, and I was really questioning again my intuition. Like, am I bugging? Like, am I just bugging? Is it just me? Am I really just angry? Do I just have so much more healing to do? And,
Mhm.
doing all of that. And then I found this page, yo, that described the different levels of narcissism. And I was like, this is, yes, yes, they do this. Yes, he does this. Oh my gosh, he does this. He does this. He does this. And when I tell
Mhm.
you, it brought me so much power. to be like, yo, son, I knew I wasn't bugging. I
Right.
knew I wasn't bugging. And then also, I was also talking about being self-aware and growing within yourself, and then also being honest about yourself when you have reflected these traits as well. Because we were talking about earlier about having family members who unknowingly reflect these traits of narcissism, so it ends up pouring onto us. But you know what I realized, and something that was coming to me as you were talking, is that something that will consistently happen in my life, because, okay, first off, just to be like, oh, the reflection thing, right? The whole, oh yeah, well, you're seeing this reflection because that's you. I had to realize in the reflection experience that came to me is that sometimes spirit shows you this like over exaggerated version of what you could be, to show you to check yourself before you wreck yourself. Like, truly, because I had to be honest and was like, oh dang, I feel like I've done this before. But then a lot of the times when I was reading the narcissistic thing, I was like, dang, I remember doing this when I was younger, but because I've been doing the work within myself to grow, not even thinking about like, oh, I don't want to be a narcissist, let me not do this. It was just gradually natural things that I've worked on within myself to be like, yo, I'm not going to be like this and expect a person to do this because I want this, and then be mad at them if they don't do what I want. Like, that was just me gradually working on myself. And then I realized, like, no, I'm being showed this reflection because it's showing me something that I could have been, essentially, or an energy that I could be, but that I literally do not resonate with anymore. I do not resonate with this. Also, this, it's like spirit has like a sense of humor. So spirit will show you this exaggerated version to be like, and then also for you to trust your intuition and be like, is that reflecting you? Is that you? I'm like,
Right.
wait a minute. Nah, that's not me, son. That's not me. And then it's also like I realized that to show you the healer in you as well. The healer in you as well, okay? Because guess what? Like, for instance, I do these readings and it's like taps into like it really digs down into your astrology chart. And for my astrology chart with my signs and everything, one of the things that I attract is imbalanced people. I literally attract imbalanced people. The reason why I attract them is because I meant to help them, literally. And I even realized in my own experience getting so, oh my gosh, so vulnerable, because this is something that's been happening to me. And I'm like, Deja, you need to chill. And it's something that I realized where it's almost the best way for me to say it is that I would get these patients, like these people that are supposed to be like my patients, like I'm supposed to help them to grow. And then I would get intimate with them and I would start talking to them because it was like, oh, like, yeah, I feel bad for this. And then also I'm like this mother energy and I'm like, it's okay. Like, let me help you. I understand you going through this. Let me help you. And then I'll end up talking to them. And spirit was like, I didn't send you this person for you to be intimate with. I didn't send you this person for you to be that. I sent you this person so that you can do your work with. And you can leave that ego stuff and that physical, all of that behind, because and truly practice your gifts and also be the person that you said that you are, that you know that you are. But let me send you this person. And I'm like, damn. And then I made the joke and I'm like, damn, I need to stop sleeping with my patients.
Oh my goodness.
It's the truth. And it's like connected to like, like a therapist, how like with a therapist, it's like this whole thing around like confidentiality. And it's like, yeah, like this is like, all right, for instance, I recently, like I'm officially certified as an art therapist practitioner, okay?
Yes. Yes.
And a part of the teaching, literally, a part of the teaching that we learn is like, yo, you shouldn't even really be friends with your clients. Like, you shouldn't be friends with them outside of the work you're doing with them. Literally, like, y'all don't go to the club and hang out and all that. No,
Right.
you completely keep it a professional relationship. Y'all have separate lives, and literally, it is the session, and then you leave. The session, and then you leave. You don't get to buddy with them. That's literally like a rule. So it's like that's the energy that I was experiencing and I've experienced, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is not to be that intimate. It's for me to literally, again, do my work.
Yeah. Yeah, that's real. That's so real because it's like the thing is too, like a lot of people that I feel like, well, not a lot of people, but there are certain patients that just are very like attractive. And I think that's part of the lesson too. Like, can you separate your, you know, attraction that can sometimes be fatal too? Because it's like, oh, like I like what I see right now. But then as you get to know the person and you really like see their character, you're like, oh, ah. Like, yeah, maybe it was like just for that moment. And yeah, no, it's very real. And I feel like too, like, you know, when it comes to like reflections and like, you know, the people that we come into contact with. I love that you brought this up because I feel like a lot of people in the spiritual community, we can get caught up in that. Like, oh, like, I see you, you're in my space, so that means you're a direct reflect. Like, I'm looking into the mirror, everything I see is me, and everything you see is you. And it's like, I feel like that's true, but then there's also another truth to that where it's like, not every single person is your like total reflection. Like I feel like I've been able to come to the awareness that like, yeah, we all do reflect each other. Like, for example, there's people walking up and down this block right now. I feel like I have like a micro reflection with every single person on this block. I don't know what it is, but maybe we all, I don't know, maybe we all like fashion. I don't know, or maybe we all, you know, have big dreams. You know, it's just something like that. And it's like, just because that may be true, I don't feel that it can always mean that we have to like allow these people into our space and kind of like build with them and, you know, connect with them just because solely that they're a quote unquote reflection. And I also feel like when we see the different people, they are meant to help us see within ourselves, like what are you reflecting within me? And you know, sometimes those timelines or those like interactions aren't meant to last that long. Like, okay, you know, I see that we both kind of have like impatience, a thing with impatience. Like we can't really like trust source and like just wait for things to unfold, and we feel like we gotta put our hand in it and kind of like make it happen. But when we overlap the amount of time that we was needed to kind of get the lesson out, I feel like that's when things could start getting toxic, and that's when things could start getting, you know, to the point that it wasn't really meant for it to go there. And it goes hand in hand with like, you know, kind of like being involved with your patients. It's like I see the reflections within you because we all need healing on some level, but it's not always meant to kind of stay with a person or attach yourself to a person. And yeah, like it's really an interesting thing, you know, as I've been like really like not trying but like really opening my eyes to the truth of this experience. Like there's so many different avenues and like multi-dimensional aspects of everything, like of who we are, of who other people are. The choices that we make can lead to different like realities and things of that nature. And it's like nothing is ever just like boom, this is just black and white, here's what it is. Like there's always more to what we see and like what we even to what we can understand mentally. And I think that's why it's so important to tap into your feelings and your intuition, because that can help you to navigate, okay, like what is the like the choice that can lead me to the highest, like the highest good for me and them, you know what I mean? And yeah, it's very tricky, but then at the same time, I feel like it's all just a beautiful journey of lessons. And sometimes you just gotta go through it. Sometimes you just gotta like experience it to really like, oh, okay, like I get it. I get it. You know, and even now, like I'm not saying that we aren't like, you know, haven't learned enough, but there's always things to learn. There's always more experiences that will come our way only to help us grow and only to help us truly understand what we're here to do and who we really are. So
Yeah.
that's real, you know, I can definitely relate to like, you know, being involved with people who I can now look back and say that, hey, like, I don't feel that that was supposed to be a romantic relationship. That could have been like a business relationship or just a friendship, even, you know. But I feel like when it also comes to that, that's an opportunity for us to heal like those wounds within ourselves. Because when I think back, it would be when I was in a mindset or had beliefs that I wasn't enough, or beliefs that I was like I needed to attach myself to somebody to receive that love that really I can only get from myself. And not that it's only for me, but like once I actually go within myself, get the love from myself, then I can start to see that love reflected in my outside reality and allow other people to love me and I can love them back. But it's not for everyone, you know what I mean? Like, it's not everybody, especially people who are in this work, who are healers, who are here to help people evolve and help people to see a different way than what we've been used to, because we're just very energetic beings. Like, not everybody can truly resonate with our, you know, with our being and our path. So
Yeah. But they're
yeah,
like always gonna be like attracted to a light, right? Like they always say like they're everything is gonna be attracted to a light. So definitely,
exactly.
like you were saying, practicing our discernment and our intuition. And something that also came to me as you're speaking is even like when it comes to like friends and stuff like that. I like friends and relationships. I realized one of the lessons that I've been realizing is talking about the reflection thing. I'm like, oh snap, I've been practicing like compassion and grace for myself and for others, right? And I realize that sometimes I meet people that remind me of old versions of myself. So it's like, dang, I remember when I was like this. So I want to help this person because I literally remember when I was like this. But then sometimes when you get too involved or too try like I guess attached to it as well, even if it's your friend, being like, oh, I must help this person because I went through this, so I gotta be the one to help this person. And it's like, no, like it's not your job to like take the responsibility for anyone. It's literally your job to like just be who you are. I realized that some of the biggest teaching that I've done have been like me just being myself and not even really knowing. And then later on, somebody's like, yo, you know, when you dance today, how much that inspired. I'm like, word, son, yo, I was just dancing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I wasn't trying to go out and be like, let me show you how to move, all right? Let me show you. You know, it was like I was just being myself, and you know, and I was just, and that's it. And I was like, oh snap! So it shows me like, yo, the more that you're just yourself and you're just authentically you, that's how you're gonna just attract the people who are meant for you and who are meant to help you grow, and you grow with them, and y'all grow together. So word up.
Facts,
Yeah.
facts, you know, and that's so funny because like even other people, like especially you, like people that just naturally are just themselves and authentic, they have been those people that inspired me the most. And like I would literally have to say it with myself, I'll be like, yo, I just love how authenticity really just opens doors, like not only for that person that's being authentic, but for other people that are in their space that can view them and be like, oh my goodness, like, because I feel like as humans we naturally, not only do we naturally want to be authentic because that's just being us, but we naturally want to see other people in their authentic expression as well, because it'll help us understand like, oh snap, I'm not weird, I'm not a weirdo, I'm not crazy, like I'm just being myself, you know, like this way that we have been living for years and years is just really kind of boxed us in this frame of like, oh, you need to act like this. And if you're in public, you don't do this and you don't do that. And if you meet somebody, you say these things, you don't say that thing. But it's like, nah, let's put that to the side. Let's put be yourself first and then see what happens. Like, because you can't do anything wrong by just being who you are. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's also a thing, like a lesson that, you know, people with narcissistic tendencies can teach us a lot, just how to be yourself. Like, are you going to speak up when you know you need to say something? Are you going to dance when you know this person might say something that's going to be like condescending or like not uplifting you? Are you going to, you know what I'm saying? Like, for me, for personally, like, it's funny how, cause like I love to express myself like physically. Like, I like to wear stuff and like do my makeup. I don't have none now, but like sometimes I'll just do something weird with my makeup. And I'll notice like when I'll be involved with certain people, I would hold myself back a little bit, really like considering what they might say or what they might think. And that's a form of unauthenticity. Like, yeah, I'm not like quote unquote being dishonest or anything, but in a way, yeah, kind of, because I'm not truly expressing myself how I would normally do it if nobody was watching me. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like as we can be ourselves more, we can like not have to deal with narcissistic people that much. You know what I'm saying? Because that's gonna ward them off. Like once they see, oh, she do her own thing. She don't care about who's looking at her. She say what she wanna say. She do it her own way. I'm not even gonna try. You know what I mean? And yeah, like it's a bittersweet situation. It really is, because there's a lot of pain that can come with it too. Especially if you're young and especially if you're not aware. Oh my goodness. And another thing you spoke about too is like doing research. Doing research. Like, I'm not gonna lie, doing research has helped me so much. I can't really give any book references on that topic. I haven't dove into that, but I definitely looked up, like I went online and I looked things up. I'm like, yo, like I can't be like the crazy person in the situation. Like, I need to really see what's happening out there. What are the professionals saying? Like, what are the experienced people saying? And like, literally, I had the same experience. And I was like in my room the whole day. And I was like, literally, I was like, I mean, I meditate a lot, but this day I feel like I was meditating the whole day. Cause I was like, yo, like, not only is this person being described to the T on this online research platform, but I knew this already. So like, why am I questioning? Why am I not being true to what I know? And I just feel like I'm way stronger, like coming out of these relationships, coming out of these dynamics. And one thing I want to speak on too is like, I feel like when when we have people in our family that have these traits as well, that is kind of different from people that we're involved with or the friendships or things like that, because these are people that are in our lives a little bit longer. And one thing that's been helping me with like certain family members that have these traits is definitely having compassion. Like having compassion. And I love that you said to have compassion for yourself and for others, because sometimes I forget to have it for myself. A lot of the times I'm always giving compassion to the other person. Like, you know what? They're doing this because they are in a state of like not being their full like God body self. We all have that. We all connected to a source. So if you want to sit here and act like a narcissist and use your God given energy to do that, you're in a very hurt place. Like you're in a lot of pain. You're very like, you're just not in your totality. And that I can't relate to that, because I feel like I've always been looking for that source within me. Like, yo, I know it's here. I know it's here. Like, I need to stay close to that. But some people, they're just not, I feel like some people are just not here to experience that in this life right now. Like, some people are here to kind of like be like very like just out of tune with themselves and have that experience. So I'm like, yo, like that's probably very painful for them to even be in that type of being. So let me have compassion for them and stop taking things so personal. Stop like, you know, feeding into the energy that they're trying to give out. Because a lot of the times I feel like they don't even understand what they're doing. A lot of the times that's just how they like, that's just them. And it's like, it's like, imagine if you just couldn't help but just like
It's
just
when
be in
people
that
don't
energy of, like,
want to change. Like
yeah,
that's
you
something I
know.
read the other day. And I was like, it really hit me because what you're saying is like some people really just don't want to change, and they don't feel
Hmm.
like there's anything wrong with how they are. So they just gonna
And
do that.
yeah, you know, I totally agree. And for us people that have such a big heart and we're so nurturing and we know we're here for a bigger purpose, we could feel compelled to like pull these people out of their misery or out of that situation. But it's like, yo, our patients are the people that want to change, that actually want to heal and want to ascend and grow. Those people that want to just stay where they at, always like bringing somebody down, always like, just not spreading the love that's in them that they naturally have. We all have access to it. If that's what they want to choose, then like all I can do is have compassion. All I can do is just be myself. All I can do is just kind of like just keep on being on my own path. And like in the beginning stages of when I was opening my eyes to realize like certain people in my family are having these character traits, it was really hard. Like, I'm gonna be vulnerable, honest. Like, it would make me cry. Like, I would be in my room just crying about it because I'm like, yo, I love this person so much, and I just want them to see what I'm seeing. I just want them to be happy. I just want them to stop being so angry and miserable and just like hurting themselves and doing all of these crazy things all the time. And as I grew through that pain, as I expressed it, I feel like that's important too, to just kind of like let the pain go and like admit to Source, like, yo, this hurts a lot. Because Source understands, like, it's being all orchestrated by Source. So Source understands. So just kind of express it, let it out, be honest with Source, be vulnerable, so that you can kind of like let the clouds kind of disperse, let the clouds evaporate, so that you can see why it's all happening. Because it's all to make us better. At the end of the day, I realized, like, yo, honestly, it hurts a lot, but this is something that's gonna like sharpen my tools so sharp. And like when I get out into the world, or as I'm out here in the world, like doing the work that I know I'm here to do, like my tools are just gonna be like sharp, and I'm gonna have a bunch of them in my toolbox, and like I'm gonna just be out here just tooling. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just literally. And when I can get to that perspective, it helps a lot. And it helps me to not only have compassion, but have gratitude. Like, you know what? Yeah, it made me cry at one point, but I'm going to hold gratitude now. I'm going to hold gratitude, and I'm just going to keep growing and keep evolving, keep being myself, and not allow it to break me down. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing that, because that's a part of like what we're speaking on as well. I really wanted to make the connection between like relationships with friends and romance, but then also like our family. And those
Mm,
can be some of the most toughest ones to deal with, because a lot of times, like you said, they're just the I don't even want to say older generation, but just certain people and placements in your family aren't here to be in that ascension mode. It's honestly kind of put here and orchestrated for you to still
mm,
to like help you to ascend in the way that you're supposed to. So it's like everybody has a role, like it's a movie, and that's just
mm,
what their role is. So it's kind of like you don't need to be trying to cast them for another role, like because that's the role like that they're supposed to be playing, you know? So I
mm,
definitely resonate with that. And you know, this last thing that I wanted to like, I would love to do this with you, because I was going in today with this activity, yo, and it's just so magical, and it connects back to like the whole family thing. And this goes into like expectations. So I want to show you this book. It's
mm.
called Live Free by
Okay.
Divine Franklin, and it's such a special book. This is actually how I started doing the Bubbly Love workshops in the first place. That started on
Yeah.
Rafa, and it was very like honestly like random. It was so spontaneous. I don't even remember where I got this book. Like I definitely got this book from like a public place that had books, and I took it honestly. Because it was one of those things where I was like, I want this book. They won't miss it. But it
So,
like yeah, and honestly, I make jokes about the book thing because I'm like, well, for years they've been stealing books from us, so.
let, let, let's talk about it.
But yeah, so I got this book from somewhere, and I just know that this book was for me. Like I seen it, and I knew that it was for me. And something that the brother goes into is about expectations. And I want to talk about, like, it's called Live Free. So I want to talk about the four main areas of your life where expectations come into play. So he says personal, your expectations of yourself; cultural, your expectations of your culture and the culture's expectations of you; relational, your expectations of others and others' expectations of you; 4, professional, your expectations of your career and your job's expectations of you. So there's an activity involved in this, and this is something that you can do at your own time. But I want to share with you the activity that I ended up doing.
Yes,
So
yes.
the activity that I did was I actually started off doing the personal one, and I was like, what are my expectations of myself? And I created this whole list of the expectations I have for myself. Then after I looked at everything, before I get into the next part, after I looked at everything, I was like, oh, should I go into the cultural, the relationship, professional? I realized looking at that one list, the expectations I have for myself are actually cultural. They are the relational and they are professional. So it's like the expectations I have for myself are actually expectations that have been put upon me from all of these aspects in my life. And I was like, oh, Sanizza, wow. And then what I did was it came to me, I was like, I'm gonna write down these expectations and then I'm gonna make a list of what are the unrealistic expectations and like I'm gonna cross those out. And then I was like, what are the realistic expectations? And those are the ones I'm gonna receive. And then I created a whole separate sheet that basically is like I transmuted, like I basically took the expectations, the unrealistic ones, and I like reworded them to be realistic expectations.
Yeah.
So I want to, there's so many things I highlighted, but I want to share actually my chart. Like I want to share the chart because I'm like, I got
Yes.
to go into this. I got to go into this. And I definitely encourage anybody who's on the live, anybody who sees it later on to do this activity because it's so empowering. Like I was here crying and it was amazing. Like it is
Yeah.
amazing. And I was like, oh snap. It just is, it brings a lot of clarity. So I'm going to start off by reading. These are the expectations set by me before I cross anything out. So, or maybe I should read, okay, actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the unrealistic expectations and then what I turn them into to be the
Okay.
realistic expectations. That's how I'm going to do it. Okay. So the first expectation is be perfect. Don't let them see you mess up because it shows that you are weak. And then I change that into be open to love. And that's the same one. Oh yeah, okay. I said be open to love and date others. Oh wait, that's not the same one. My bad, yo. I have a lot of stuff here. Okay. Um, oh, let me finish that. That's what I realized. I didn't read the whole thing. Okay. Be perfect and don't let them see you mess up because it shows you're weak. And then I said be successful, financially stable, and independent by 25. All right, maybe I'm sorry. Excuse me. I Let me just read the unrealistic ones and then I will go to the next one because I'm kind of confused with myself
Nah,
right
you
now.
good. You good. You good.
I'm like, wait, what? Because honestly, I wrote down so much that I was like, oh, I didn't even realize I was gonna take up the pages like this.
Yeah.
Okay, let me just go back. Okay. Be perfect. Be perfect. Don't let them see you mess up because it shows you're weak. Be successful, financially stable, and independent by 25. Be married and stable by 30. Which, by the way, oh, with children, by the way, y'all, I'm 29. So I wrote down what the expectation of myself was when I turned 25. And I didn't get there, but that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why I'm expressing it. And then I said, have a successful music career where you're on TV and mainstream before having children. Live on your own at 30 and be independent, financially secure. not to make mistakes. And by the way, I want to say that I was mad vulnerable in here because these are real things that I be thinking about, like not making mistakes. And it's like, that's not even realistic. What you mean you don't want to make mistakes? Like, but this is real, like how I really be looking at things.
Yeah.
I said, don't tell others what you're going through, like really, because they can't handle it. Have a bunch of friends. Keep consistent communication with all your family members. These ones are actually the real. Oh, okay. And then I said, be happy all of the time. Be the bigger person always. Be healthy always. And then lastly, the ones that I found, I only had like 3 realistic expectations. And the realistic ones were travel the world. I'm like, I could really do that.
Word.
And then I was like, be the bigger person. I took out always, but I can take initiative to be the bigger person in situations.
Yeah.
And then I said I can take acknowledgement to be healthy as much as I can. And then I said acknowledge mistakes and take steps to change and grow. So that is realistic for me to make mistakes and allow myself to change and to grow.
Yeah.
So on the other side, these are how I took those unrealistic ones and turned them into realistic ones. So I said, be open to love and date others who want a family. So have a conversation about 5-year goals, personal, relationship, career, and purpose. And then my third eye itched. And anytime my third eye itched, that means it's true. So when it's like, it's true. I feel like sometimes you said something earlier, which was like, oh yeah, like the expectation of like when you first meet somebody, the things to talk about, right? And sometimes not listening to ourselves about the things we want to talk about because we don't want to like run them away or something, and not talking about these things that's really important. So for instance, if we're gonna date somebody and we know that we want children eventually, why not really talk to this person about like, yo, what are your 5-year goals? Like, do you want children? You could be in a whole relationship with somebody, y'all getting along, da da da. Later on, you're like, wait, you don't want no children? Wait, hold on, what? Like, you know?
Right. Seriously though. Seriously.
So having those conversations about what people actually see for themselves in the coming years, you know, and that way you can just gauge from the very beginning, like, can this work long term, you know?
Right. Right.
Then I said, continue to make music and get out of my comfort zone and try new things and perform new places. I feel like there's an expectation from culture and society of what a successful music career looks like. And that basically it's like, if you're not mainstream, that you don't have a successful music career. And I've been having to really reflect on the years that I've been performing now, which is literally, this makes my 6th year. And I'm like, Deja, you've been doing it. Like, big up to yourself. Like, just because, like, this whole being on the radio, mainstream, like, look what all that's happening right now with the celebrities, okay? Like, you see what's happening right now.
You know,
It's like, you know, it's like, do you want to just be authentically and share your music? And it's like, yes, now we have the opportunity to just be able to share our music. And I'm like, that's all I've ever wanted, was to be able to share my music, to empower others, truly, and to teach, because I love teaching. So I just love to teach and empower others through my creative arts. And I've been doing that. So I'm like, give yourself props.
yes,
Give yourself props, you know?
that
And
is
just,
success.
yes,
Exactly.
exactly. Thank you. And it's like, just keep going. Like, literally, just keep going in that, you know? Then I said, set the intention of where you want to live and what your ideal home looks like and work towards it. And then I said, change to abundant mindset and release financial trauma. Learn from mistakes and reflect. Have people around you that trust, um, that you trust, to have free communication without dumping on people. So like without just projecting things on people. Speak to God first. Like, speak to the Most High first before you just go and call your friend, like, girl, let me tell you, let's release that. And then, so by the time you tell your sis, it's not like you overwhelming her, Then I said, create space to connect with your friends and family who support your higher self. That's what I said. Who support your higher self? Because I'm sure that a lot can resonate with the fact of like having huge families. And I'd be like, yeah, I got to talk to all my family members all the time. And it's like, bro, no, you don't. You need to quality over quantity. So the ones who, support things, but it's like, don't be having conversations. Like, I don't have to hang out or talk to, for instance, real talk, like toxic family members just because they my family. Like, nah, you could keep that toxicity over there. I can from distance, but I don't got to talk to you if that's what you want. Like, real talk.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then I said quality over quantity. And I said cherish quality over quantity with your friends and your family. And I said give thanks for every moment and emotion. Allow yourself to feel. Step out of ego and do not react when feeling heavy emotions. Breathe before responding. Then I said make healthy choices and decisions without criticizing yourself if you cheat. Like if you have some ice cream, whatever. Like allow yourself to live. Maintain balance. Allow that word spontaneity, the word that's spontaneous, but with the EITY, that word I really know how to say is spontaneity. Spontaneity.
I know what the word is. I'm gonna try to say it. Spontaneity.
Yes,
I think I just said
that was it.
I said it.
That was it. Thank you. Because every time I look at the word, I'm like, yeah, that was it.
Weird.
That was it. Thank you. Allow that. Allow all of that.
Yeah.
And then I said, and then my reflection at the end, I said, upon reflection, my personal expectations are influenced by my culture, relationships, and professions. And I said music, teaching, performing artists, and therapy. And like even like creating, like being a person who holds safe spaces, like something I shared the other day. I was like, dang, because I'm like this teacher now who talks about mental health and all of that, it almost makes me sometimes more, what's that word? Like strict on myself about the things that I'm sharing and about the things that I'm talking about, because it's like, well, yeah, I have this like certain, expectation to uphold because you are like a type of therapist. So it's like, I can't, for instance, like the other day I shared a video of me like dancing and it was singing that song like, one time for the birthday bid, the time for the birthday. Yeah, it was my birthday. But I personally don't like the word BITCH. That's just a fun fact. I really don't like that word. However, it was just that energy of that day. Like, yes, I'm gonna fuck it up because it's my birthday.
Yeah.
Like, and it was just that energy. And then I realized, like, oh snap, I stopped sharing stuff like this because of the space that I'm in and teaching all these spiritual things and the idea, expectations of what spirituality looks like. Even when I have my locks, it's like, yeah, it looks like locks. It looks like having your natural hair. And then the other day, I'm like, I want to do some colorful braids. Like, whoever told me, like, what it's supposed to look like? Like, spiritual is being yourself authentically in whatever way that you see yourself to be expressed. Like, truly. And that's it. Thanks for listening.
I love that. Honestly, I love how you broke it down for yourself and how you really like just wrote it all down on paper, because I feel like that like it just helps to really dig deep and really to like look within, like, oh wow, like I have so many expectations that are really not even like, I don't even need all these expectations. And it's, you know, first of all, I'm definitely gonna do that practice, because I've been really like, I feel like I have been doing like a lot of shadow work and just looking within myself lately. But that's a really practical, like nice little bulletin kind of version of doing it, because sometimes I could just be a little spacey, like, oh, let me look at the shadow, let me look at that shadow, let me think about this, let me think about that. But that's really beautiful to kind of break it down like that. And I honestly I feel that we have a lot of similar expectations, like especially the one about being perfect. Like honestly, I'm not gonna lie, like within the past like I would say 1 to 3 months. Like I have really been breaking down that idea. Like, yo, you have to show up and be perfect all the time. Like with everything you say, everything you wear, everything you do, everything you like, all like, and it's exhausting. Like literally, I exhausted myself trying to be so perfect. And I had to sit. I'm like, yo, if you look out in nature, yo, like nature is beautiful, but like even nature ain't perfect. Like you don't see everything looking all like symmetrical or like even like all straight, right, like all straight and perfect. Like some branches be broken off, sometimes the water got like little stuff in it, or like you know what I'm saying, like it's just part of life. Like we have to embrace our quote unquote flaws. And I feel like like societal expectations, like even though that wasn't one of the, wasn't cultural can be like societal expectations. Yeah. Like cultural or societal expectations kind of like puts that expectations on all of us. Like, oh, you gotta be perfect all the time. And if you're not perfect, you're canceled. And I think that's a fear that a lot of us have. Like, we don't want to be rejected, or we don't want to be like, we don't want to miss out on opportunities. We don't want to miss out on love. We don't want to miss out on success. But it's like, yo, if you look at nature, nature is not perfect, but that's what makes it so beautiful. The imperfections, the ebbs and flows, the unexpected things that come up, that happen in life. And I like every single day I still have to kind of remind myself, like, we don't have to be perfect, girl. Like if you're running late, girl, that's just what's gonna be. Like it's just gonna be that. I can't, like, what else? I can't. Oh, I don't want to say I can't, but like I'm not at the level where I could transport to work at the, like, you know what I'm saying. So I'm just gonna have to come when I come, and it's like I don't have to hold on to that like expectations to be perfect. I feel like that's a main one that a lot of us have, but it's very, very, very unrealistic. Like it's just not. It's just not. And it's unnecessary too. You know what I'm saying? Like you can still be successful, you can still experience love, you can still like look good if you got like a hole in your shirt or something. You know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't have to be all perfect. And it was very exhausting for me to like meet that expectation. And also too, like I remember being a young girl, like I mean I'm still young, I'm 23, but like when I was like 15 or 16, I was like, yo, like I wrote this down too. I was like, yo, I'm gonna have my own crib and car when I'm like 21. Like I remember I literally wrote, I was like, yo, I'm gonna have my bags packed downstairs in my apartment on my 21st birthday. Like it's just gonna be that. Like that's what it's gonna be. And it came, 21 came, and I still love my mama. Like I do. And it's okay though. You know what I'm saying? It's okay. And I feel like that's also cultural expectations. Like, oh, you need to like have all this like material possessions. Like you need to have your own crib, your own car, you need to have money. I mean, money is part of this life. Like we need money to like use it as a tool, but like the over hoarding of money is not really necessary. Like, what do you really want though? Do you want the money, or you want the experiences that money can get you? Do you want the tools that you can buy with money? You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't really need the money. And yeah, like it's just so funny how like we had some similar expectations, and like it's it's really gonna be fun to break it down and really like understand like what is it truly like within myself, so that I can kind of balance it out and like really live free, like the book says,
Yeah.
because it was very like it constricted me so much. And I feel like even like in my field, like my energetic field, like I wasn't having access to certain experiences that I wanted because I was trying to be perfect so much. And most of these experiences that I wanted, I kind of had to be like, I had to just let it go and just be like, mess up a little bit, or like show my flaws a little bit, and boom, now this is coming in. I have, this is coming in. I have open access to this. I can see this way more clearly now. And it's like, it's very much like a mental battle to kind of just be perfect all the time, you know? But yeah, no, that was a beautiful breakdown. And thank you for sharing your own like self expectations, because that is very vulnerable. That's very personal. And, it's going to help a lot of people that are like viewing this live now and that will watch it later to kind of realize like, oh snap, like it's not even that, like it's really not that. So
Yeah. Thank you so
yeah,
much for receiving me always. I appreciate you. A brother
yeah,
said the imperfect perfection, and word, I always love that saying. Like, I'm imperfectly perfect.
yeah.
Like, and it's just like, yeah, like, again, just being free and whatever your expression is at that moment. I love the fact that you brought up the lateness thing, because that used to be a huge thing for me. And I used to be like, oh my God, like, and I would catch anxiety, girl, trying to get places, stubbing my toe, hurting myself,
No,
running,
it's
my heart beating
real.
fast. And I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, I released that like the other day. I was going to a rehearsal, and I love my brother Lejuan because we're like in this play and stuff now. But what happened was I told him like, yo, I'm gonna be 25 minutes after. The trains ended up doing some next thing, and I literally came almost like an hour late. But when I tell you, the old me would have been like, the new me, I was there like, listen, God, God,
Yes.
God, God, right now. I'm chilling. I went into the space. I wasn't like extra apologetic, like either. Like real talk.
Mm.
It's just like, hey, I'm here. I let you know. I could like my biggest thing. I'm like communication. So
Yeah.
I'm like, I did my part of communication, letting you know that I'll be a little tardy. I'm not about to come in like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, because that don't help nobody. That don't help nobody. I'm just like, hey, how you doing today?
Yes. Like I have arrived. Hello.
I'm here
Like,
now. Like let me catch up. I am here and I am present and I'm going to be
mm,
here to receive. And I realize just how those small little changes can just create the biggest impacts in our lives. Like
mhm.
truly.
No, seriously. Yeah, the other day too, like, oh my God. Okay, I'm gonna share another vulnerable moment. Like I had like literally like it's so crazy how much anxiety I would catch with being late. Like literally, when was it? I think it was like the beginning of May. Like I was late. Like I was so late to work. I was like almost an hour late, and I was like, dang. Like I had the opportunity to be on time, and I still was late. And like I'm calling my boss. I'm like, yo, I don't even want to. I don't want to tell her. I'm calling her, and she's telling me, just take the day, because we kind of needed everybody to be here. And like literally after the phone, like after we got off the phone, I just started bawling. I did. I was just crying. I was like, bro, like I'm just tired of being late. And then I started doing some of my studying, and I realized, like while I was studying, like they started talking about fight or flight mode. And he was speaking about like how when when things happen, like you're late to work or like you know other things, but late to work kind of it kind of like highlighted. I was like, oh snap, like when I'm late I be in fight or flight mode. And that's why I be so like just like I'm just be like so like literally just
Yeah.
anxious and like upset and like. But when you're in fight or flight mode, the way your body reacts, like on a scientific level, like you literally are not able to perceive reality the way that it is, because you perceive you're in danger, because you're not meeting an expectation that you have put upon yourself. And that one in particular, I was able to realize like, yo, this is when I'm late and I start feeling like fight or flight, is because I'm like worried about my survival, and I'm thinking that if I'm late that like I'm not going to be able to survive, and that I'm not going to be able to have the income that I'm used to, or like even like I'm gonna be in danger of like my boss just not looking at me the same, or my coworkers looking at me the same, or like just disappointing people, and just all of these fears, all of these things that are perceived as danger, but that's not even the true reality of what's going on. It's actually just the way my internal world is feeling, and so that's what I'm seeing on my outside world. And once I realized that, that actually really helped me to kind of just be like, you know what, like I'm not gonna purposely be late, but next time I'm late, like let me just actually breathe. Let me just actually like pull myself into a state of like calmness and peace, even more so knowing that I actually feel like I'm in danger of being late. Mind you, my boss is so cool. Like she don't even be like tripping if I'm late. If I be the only one.
It
Like
be
I be
you,
the
right? It don't be
only
the
one
other people.
tripping.
Sometimes it be you, right? And then when they come, when you go to the place, they're like, "Hey, welcome." And you're like, "Oh, I was just wild, just out of
I think I was expecting something else. Like, look at you walking
here."
in.
Yeah,
What time is it? Like, look at you coming in now. But most of the time, other people are not even like that upset or like that disappointed. Another thing I want to share too. This happened recently. Like, I was just volunteering to paint a mural in the Bronx, which was so fun.
shout out
I
to
had
you,
so much
sis.
fun.
That's so
Thank
fun.
you so
Okay,
much. You know, like
yes.
that opportunity was so like it was really a blessing because it was so much fun. I met so many cool people there, and like I didn't see the finished product, but I'm gonna go down there probably this weekend or probably next week to kind of like see the full thing. Like every time I went, it just got better and better. I was like, oh my god, but yeah, like I was late to that, right? I was late to that, and one of the days, like I was late the previous days, but the last time I was late, I was like, yo, like I don't even like I didn't even have the mind to kind of like communicate and be like, yo, I'm running late. Tell me why I'm strolling up on the place and I see the lady that's the head leader. She's pulling up at the same time as me. She's pulling out her pace supplies, the table. Like literally, we got there at the same time. And I'm like, look. So sometimes also too, like when we're quote unquote late, like it's just spirit trying to make things work for the best. Because if I had like tried to rush there, get there early, I would have been waiting. I would have waited for her, and that wouldn't have been the worst thing. But it's like spirit's just like, listen, like just trust me, flow with me. Watch, you're gonna make it there right when you need to make it there, and
Yeah.
that's what I was telling myself the whole time. I was like, yo, I'm gonna just make it there when I make it there. It's gonna be fine. We're gonna get it done. It's gonna be good, and we gonna get it done. And she was pulling up the same time, so it's just so funny sometimes how like your own internal world and perspective can really, really, truly influence what happens on the outside. Because had I been nervous and like going into fight or flight mode, who knows? Maybe I would have been later than I showed
Yeah.
up that day, and then I really would have, you know, missed out on painting and doing the things that I came here to do. So
Yeah.
it's really like bringing it back to the whole expectations things. It's really liberating to kind of like allow yourself to just be who you are authentically, because too many expectations kind of like damper your real self, and it makes you kind of like just like go about life in a way that really doesn't serve you because you're just putting so much expectations on yourself. And I kind of want to tie this into like attachment and non-attachment too, because that was something that I wanted to speak about as well when I seen the topics, because I feel like when we are detached from things, even like expectations, literally it allows more room for source to actually do what source is trying to do. Like it's sometimes it's so simple. Like sometimes you just gotta just sit back and allow things to flow, and then you kind of just see how things are just working out. Because life is gonna happen, and Source already has the plan. But if we're always trying to have our hand in it and try to like control things, I feel like expectations can be a way of trying to control things too. Like having everything under a certain like way or form and structure. Like if it's not like this, then it's not happening. But Source works with us. So if we are not allowing source to do what source wants to do, it makes things so much more difficult, so much more challenging for us on our own journeys. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, like practicing non-attachment has been a practice that I've been doing as well, that has really just kind of helped me to just really embody this person that I'm growing into and allow source to kind of work with me to get there. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah. Thank you so much for that. Yes, sis just
thank
came in
you.
and she said, never late when you operating on divine timing, right on time. And she's like, it's a reason why she tapped into the live. You see, look, even divine timing, you coming into the live at this time because you just needed to receive that message so we can all
Mm,
build on that. It's so true. I realized like divine timing is not just a saying, it really is just a thing. Like it really is divine timing. Like everything is always going to happen at that time. And like you said, like I like how you connected it, detaching the from the expectations, like literally detaching from it. And you know, something that came to me while you were speaking, I want to say this to self and to you and to anybody watching, is next time we're like, or as we operate like within our lives and making decisions, let us ask ourselves, are we operating from a place of living free, or are we operating in a place of living in someone else's expectations?
You need a mic right now, girl. You know, mic. No, I love that. I love that. That's a perfect reset moment to kind of just really, really cultivate the life we want to live. We all want to live free. Nobody want to live like all in expectations. It's exhausting. It's limiting. It's like you feel stuck when you have so many expectations. So like asking yourself that question, that's so like valuable and so like it gives you an opportunity to really create. You know what I mean? Like really create what you want from a space of the energy that you want to live from. So I love that. I love that.
Ashe. Thank you so much, Shantia, for writing it out. Like, yo, facts, yo. When I go back to this live and I like share footage, this is gonna be the part that's gonna be
Nah, this one they need to hear that. They needed to hear
that part.
that for real. That part. Literally, that part.
Thank you so much, Trinity. I really appreciate you coming on this live for me. Yo, when I seen your message and you're like, oh, sis, I want to talk about this stuff, I'm like, yay. I'm so happy because let me tell you, like, when I started doing these lives again, I was just like, okay, I know I want to talk about certain topics. And sometimes I just want to go in and talk about a topic. But I realized the strength of the way I was doing it before when I would always have somebody on and it's like we build on that topic and it become a conversation. And then even like what's happening with me and you now, I realized as I was looking at all of the guests that were on there, I'm like, dang, these are all like special people in my lives that we may not have been able to like hang out in person. Like me and you've been talking about hanging out in person, but it's like,
I know.
look at how we got to sit here and build. So look at the magic of like everything just happening the way it's supposed to. And I'm like, I want to continue doing it in this way so that I can really build with the people that I love. And it's like we don't always have to be in the same place, like physically, but it's like us being here together. Like, look at how much we was just able to build. So,
no, seriously. Seriously. Oh my goodness. Thank you for opening this platform for this discussion.
yes.
I know so many people are going to benefit from it. They're going to learn so much and they're going to relate too. I just really feel that. I feel like a lot of people are going to understand like they're not alone on this journey and they have a lot of people in their own like energetic field that are going through similar experiences that have like a different perspective that can actually benefit them and help them to grow on their own journey. So thank you for opening this platform. I'm so happy I came on. The discussions were so deep and so real, and I have things to take away from this too. So that's even more beautiful.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I feel like when we build it together, then we both just like where it's like a reciprocated thing, you know? So thank you so much. I love you.
I love
Yes.
you.
And I
Hey, your whole vibe is popping right now. Like I didn't even say that, but I love the green.
Thank you.
I love the highlight.
I
You
love
vibe
you green too. Let me tell you, because we was talking about perfect and all that. Let me tell you how before the live, right? Like I had this, like I had on a white shirt and everything, and then I was just like, oh, let me like change, let me put something else on, and then like I'm here kind of like almost rushing because I'm like, oh, it's 5:20 something. Let me like find something to wear, and then I was like, I had to take a pause, and I was like, let me wear what I'm wearing. I was like, let me just put my little sparklies on because you know I love my little sparklies.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put my earring on, put my hat on. I'm like, that's it. I'm like simplistic, like simple wins the race. Like, don't
Yes.
like again, like not trying to do too much and just be you. I'm like, I feel like, and I love that I'm wearing white right now. White has been coming to me a lot more lately to like wear more white because it's like receiving, right? It's like this receiving energy and this like pure energy of like flow. And even today, I didn't really eat much today. And every time I like am in this like fasting state, I just feel so like connected. And let me pull, and I'm gonna be honest, I was really like, I had a nap before this and I was trying to eat something, and I was like, Deja, you said you wasn't gonna eat nothing, and I couldn't find nothing to eat, and I was like, you're not supposed to eat nothing. Like, be in this flow state. And I was like, yo. I had some real strawberries from the farmer's market that's like little babies like
Oh,
that. They so
oh,
cute.
wow.
Yeah, shout out to Union Square. But yeah, but neither here nor there. So yeah, so thank you so much again for coming on here. And also we shall talk. Oh, I see you on the 17th. Actually, we have a date.
Thanks.
Okay. So have a beautiful rest of your day. Enjoy the sun, and I love you. And also your skin is looking popping. I meant to tell you as well. You're glowing as well. So keep glowing.
Oh my gosh.
Keep glowing, sis.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much, Bubbles. I love you so much, hon.
Okay. Talk to you later, okay?
I'll talk to you later.
All right.
Bye,
Peace.
y'all.
Peace, everyone. Pieces.
Oh, bye. Peace,
Hey,
girl.
I love you. Happy new moon and all that. Okay. Peace, y'all.